war. War never changes. Born around Las Vegas on June 25th, 2020, Robert House lost his parents at only 2 years old, with his half-brother Anthony taking over their father's business, the H&H Tool Company, while scheming to inherit the entirety of their family fortune. Yet Robert overcame these early struggles thanks to his natural genius and work ethic, able to attend university at the prestigious Commonwealth Institute of Technology before starting Robco Industries at the age of 22 in 2042, growing it into one of the wealthiest and most powerful companies in the world. Amassing a fortune of $30 billion by the age of 30, House expanded his influence by becoming the controlling shareholder of Repcon Aerospace, the Lucky 38 Hotel and Casino, and even attempted a hostile takeover of the H&H Tool Company to avenge his half-brother's betrayal. Considered an eccentric billionaire by the media, a story emerged that he dated an attractive female celebrity, but only wanted to scan her brain and have her try on different outfits. Acutely aware of the world's diminishing resources and accelerating conflicts, House ran predictive mathematical models, which by 2065 concluded the inevitability of a global nuclear war within the next 15 years. Acknowledged as a titan of industry by the American elite, Vault-Tec Industries invited Robert House to attend a highly exclusive meeting to discuss a possible partnership to profit from the end of the world. Years earlier, in 2054, the United States government commissioned Vault-Tec to build 122 vaults across America to shelter segments of the population in case of nuclear war. However, in working with the Enclave, a conspiracy of deep state government officials, these shelters had a secret mission, with only 17 vaults designed to act normally as controls, while the other 105 conducted social, physical, and psychological experiments on isolated populations to learn about the limits of human endurance and obedience to authority, which would help the Enclave rebuild civilization, either by conquering the wasteland, or possibly leaving Earth on a generational starship to colonize another world. As Vault-Tec considered it illogical to save a failed nation like America, they instead sought to ensure the survival of their executives and staff, as well as other useful citizens that might help them survive underground and breed new generations to one day restart civilization in their own image. Requiring financial and logistical support for this massive undertaking, Vault-Tec organized a meeting with some of the largest corporations in America, including Big MT, Repcon, Westech, and Robco, offering each of them ownership of several vaults to conduct unrestricted experiments in search of the best way to run a society. Although most seemed interested, Robert House, perhaps to confirm his own calculations, asked why they should invest in shelters that might never be used, to which Barbara Howard replied they could guarantee results by dropping the bombs themselves, thus weaponizing time to win the game of capitalism, eliminating every other human on Earth while holding a monopoly over the remaining population and future of humanity. Armed with information that made it clear the end was coming, House dedicated himself entirely to his own survival and that of his beloved homeland, Las Vegas. To preserve his own life from the nuclear apocalypse, as well as the ravages of age, House placed his physical body into a life support machine, while connecting his brain to a powerful supercomputer, using robots as avatars to enact his will. Anticipating a need for romantic connection, House used the brain scans he acquired to create the Jane Securitron as an amiable and devoted female companion. To preserve Las Vegas, House built a robust defense grid to stop nuclear warheads, in addition to a laser defense network and Securitron robots to act as a police force and army. Though this was a monumental achievement, House commissioned the creation of a platinum chip in the city of Sunnyvale to activate an upgrade and significantly enhance the entire system. Yet much to House's regret, the Great War began on October 23, 2077, just 20 hours before the delivery of the platinum chip. As the nations of the world launched their nuclear weapons, the Great War began and ended in a matter of hours, resulting in the destruction of human civilization and the death of billions. Although it was uncertain who attacked first and why, many believe it was the Chinese, as their nation faced total defeat in the Sino-American War, while others believe the US launched first, or perhaps Vault-Tec and the Enclave, who may have initiated the war to begin their experiments and fulfill their destiny as the founders of a new civilization. Without the platinum chip, the inferior operating system of the Las Vegas defense grid crashed multiple times and strained the network, but ultimately provided as much protection as it could, transmitting disarm codes to neutralize 59 warheads, while laser cannons mounted on the Lucky 38 destroyed another 9. Unfortunately, a few others got through, but none hit the city itself. As the years went on, House struggled to deal with the inefficiency of the operating system, and he eventually fell into a coma for decades, allowing Vegas to be scavenged by wasteland survivors. Though House awoke in 2138, he did not reveal himself until 2274, when he detected New California Republic scouts investigating the nearby Hoover Dam. To establish his authority, House released his Securitrons from the Lucky 38 casino and allied with 3 local tribes descended from vault dwellers, including the Mojave Boot Riders, who became the chairman and were given the Tops Casino as their headquarters, the Slitherkin, who became the Omertas and were given the Gomorrah Casino, and a cannibal tribe that was given the Ultra Lux Casino and became the White Glove Society after agreeing to give up their cannibalistic ways. Although most of the other tribes scattered, the Kings became a dominant minor power just outside the city in an area called Freeside. In order to contend with the population of Vault 21, located on the strip near the Lucky 38 casino, House offered integration into his burgeoning city, which caused a fracture among residents, with some in favor but most against. Created as an experiment where all problems were solved through gambling, those in favor of integration won the argument in a game of blackjack. After the inhabitants abandoned the vault, House removed all useful tech and filled the lower levels with cement to prevent the residents from returning, but was convinced to leave the upper levels intact to serve as a hotel and gift shop for guests. Founding the Free Economic Zone of New Vegas as an independent city-state, Robert House became president, CEO, and sole proprietor, establishing a centralized autocracy and libertarian technocracy, acting as the ultimate authority in their economic, industrial, and technological affairs, while having no interest in controlling the private lives of the population, or glorifying himself as a deity, determined to govern through fair judgment and rationality. Ever mindful of the future and his long-term goals, he believed it would take 20 years to reignite the high-technology development sectors, 50 years to have people in orbit, and 100 years to send colony ships in search of other worlds. Aware that larger states, like the Democratic NCR and brutal slavers of Caesar's Legion were circling nearby, mostly because they wanted Hoover Dam for themselves, Mr. House signed the Treaty of New Vegas with the NCR, giving them control of Hoover Dam as well as McCarran International Airport in exchange for 5% of the dam's energy output and the continued independence of New Vegas. Always several steps ahead of the game, Mr. House saw this treaty as a lucrative temporary measure to bring in revenue from NCR tourists, while using NCR soldiers as a shield to protect against the inevitable invasion of Caesar's Legion, thus weakening both sides while New Vegas remained at full strength, increasing the odds they could maintain their independence against whoever emerged victorious, and eventually expand their influence as they grew more powerful. This plan proved prescient only a few years later in 2277 when Caesar's Legion attacked in the First Battle of Hoover Dam, resulting in victory for the NCR. Yet while the Legion suffered a harsh blow, it was clear they would one day return to try again. Though the battle was a great victory for House as well, he still needed to bolster his own defenses to achieve his long-term goals, and so spent millions of caps looking for the platinum chip until finally locating it in 2281. Hiring the Mojave Express, he arranged 6 additional decoy deliveries and screened their routes to ensure safe transport. But once again, the chip did not arrive, as Courier 6 was intercepted, shot, and robbed by Benny, leader of the Chairman Gang. On a mission to usurp the leadership of New Vegas, Benny had a Securitron reprogrammed to obey any command, and so was able to extract information about House's plans and the location of the chip. Outraged by this betrayal, House had another Securitron help save the life of Courier 6, using his desire for vengeance to track down their shared enemy. Embarking upon a legendary adventure, the Courier succeeded in finding Benny and recovering the chip. While becoming so influential, he ultimately decided the fate of New Vegas during the Second Battle of Hoover Dam by allying with the NCR, Caesar's Legion, Mr. House, or no one to ensure their independence. A special thanks to all those who contribute to CivilizationEx, like Kurgan the Immortal, Tamika the Black Wolf, Faith the Wandering Huntress, and Torque Frostbite. If you'd like to help the channel, be sure to give a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and click on the links below, or else go to patreon.com/CivilizationEx, where you can gain early access to videos and watch the Patreon-only series, Heroes of Lore and Legend.